The Western automotive industry is currently trapped in a state of absolute, unmitigated panic. Over the past few years, we have witnessed European and American consumers violently reject the forced, premature transition to pure electric vehicles. Plagued by extreme range anxiety, chronically broken public charging networks, and astronomical, unjustifiable price tags, the global public demanded a sensible, reliable transition. In a state of sheer, undeniable desperation, legacy automakers like Ford, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, and Stellantis came crawling back to hybrid technology. They practically begged Toyota, the historically undisputed king of the hybrid engine, for salvation. High-ranking executives in Munich and Detroit arrogantly believed that by retreating to the old, comfortable, deeply familiar hybrid standard, they could buy themselves another decade of profitability and comfortably keep Chinese digital innovation at bay. They were catastrophically, embarrassingly wrong. While the West was busy retreating to their outdated, overpriced technology, BYD, the Chinese technological juggernaut that is systematically dismantling traditional automakers quietly bypassed them entirely. They didn't just build a better electric car. They fundamentally broke the physical laws of thermodynamics for the internal combustion engine itself. Today, we are not looking at a concept rendering or a desperate future promise. We are dissecting a global executioner that is already on the streets. The BYD Qin L and its terrifying fifth-generation dual-mode intelligence (DMI) platform. This is a vehicle that delivers a physically impossible 2,100 kilometers or over 1,300 miles of combined driving range. We will expose exactly how European and Japanese engineers explicitly stated. This level of thermal efficiency was a scientific impossibility, how the Qin L has officially rendered the legendary Toyota Prius obsolete, and why the aggressive global export of this single vehicle in 2026 is the ultimate death blow to the Western automotive establishment. To truly understand the sheer scale of the disruption we are witnessing today, we must first look at the miserable, stagnant reality of the Western and Japanese hybrid standard. For a quarter of a century, the Toyota Prius has been the global benchmark for fuel efficiency. A standard European or Japanese plug-in hybrid, like a Volkswagen Golf GTE, a BMW 330e, or a Ford Escape PHEV, might offer a deeply uninspiring 40 or 50 miles of pure electric range. Once that tiny battery is depleted, you're left dragging around heavy dead weight, relying on a deeply average petrol engine that might give you another 400 miles on a full tank. For decades, Western executives continuously patted themselves on the back, arrogant in their belief that this mediocrity was the absolute pinnacle of hybrid engineering. Then, BYD dropped a nuclear bomb on the industry. The Qin L and its sibling destroy this European paradigm completely. By flawlessly integrating a highly advanced, ultra power-dense plug-in battery with a hyper-efficient combustion engine, this beautifully sculpted family saloon can travel an absolutely staggering 2,100 kilometers without ever stopping. Let that psychological reality sink into your mind for a moment. Think about the geography. You can drive from New York City all the way down to Miami, Florida, on a single tank of fuel and a fully charged battery. You can cross entire European continents, driving from London, through France, over the Alps, and down to Rome, without ever looking at a petrol station, a charging terminal, or experiencing a single microsecond of range anxiety. When this vehicle was first unveiled in China, Western automotive media and rival executives completely dismissed it. They desperately claimed the numbers were faked. They argued that the Chinese testing cycle was overly optimistic. But now, as these vehicles are aggressively exported and independently tested on global motorways by real consumers, the terrifying truth has been revealed. The era of the traditional, inefficient hybrid is dead. How exactly did BYD humiliate a century of Western combustion engine heritage? The answer lies in a specific percentage that has sent shockwaves of absolute terror through engineering departments across Germany, Japan, and the United States, 46.06%. This is the thermal efficiency of the Qin L's dedicated 1.5-liter hybrid combustion engine. For the uninitiated observer, thermal efficiency is the holy grail of automotive engineering. It dictates exactly how much of the energy locked within a single drop of petrol is converted into actual forward motion, rather than being uselessly wasted as heat, noise, and friction. For decades, Western engineers struggled to push past the 40% barrier, confidently claiming that the fundamental, inescapable laws of thermodynamics prevented any further significant gains. Toyota spent billions of dollars and decades of relentless research just to reach 41%. BYD engineers simply looked at these alleged limitations and threw them in the bin. They aggressively redesigned the entire combustion chamber architecture. They implemented a terrifyingly high compression ratio of 16:1, a figure that would cause a standard European engine to knock itself to pieces. Furthermore, they completely eliminated parasitic mechanical losses. Open the bonnet of a Qin L, and you will notice something missing. There are no traditional accessory belts. The air conditioning compressor, the water pump, the oil pump, everything is driven electronically and managed by a highly advanced AI thermal management system. BYD achieved 46.06% efficiency, a number the West thought was physically impossible outside of a Formula One laboratory. But a hyper-efficient combustion engine is only half the witchcraft. The true, terrifying dominance of the Qin L is powered by BYD's fifth-generation dual-mode intelligence (DMI) system. European hybrids rely on clunky, incredibly complex mechanical gearboxes, like the German dual-clutch DSG, that constantly interrupt power delivery, suffer from mechanical wear, and lose massive amounts of efficiency through friction. BYD bypassed this entirely. The Qin L features an incredibly power-dense version of their legendary Blade battery, paired with an AI-controlled electrical continuously variable transmission, ECVT. This onboard computer acts as a digital brain, calculating the most efficient power delivery route hundreds of times per second. Because the electrical system is so capable, the 1.5-liter combustion engine rarely drives the wheels directly. Instead, it acts as a highly advanced, ultra-efficient onboard generator. It runs consistently at its absolute perfect RPM sweet spot, feeding the electric motors and the battery with zero waste. The result of this mechanical sorcery is a fuel consumption figure that breaks the brains of Western analysts. A microscopic 2.9 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers. It provides the instant torque, the silent operation, and the terrifyingly smooth acceleration of a pure electric vehicle, whilst possessing a highly advanced petrol generator that ensures you never run out of range. The transition between electric power and petrol generation is completely imperceptible to the driver. It is a masterpiece of engineering refinement that the West simply does not possess the capacity to replicate. A physics-breaking hybrid system with over 300 miles of range is terrifying enough for legacy automakers. But BYD's ultimate, most lethal weapon is not just the thermal efficiency, it is the brutal, unforgiving price tag. Historically, when European manufacturers invent a new piece of technology, they aggressively gatekeep it. They reserve it for their flagship $150,000 luxury saloons, slowly and painfully trickling it down to the masses over a decade to maximize their profit margins. BYD operates under a different, far more lethal philosophy: absolute vertical integration. Western legacy automakers are essentially just assembly plants. They buy their batteries from LG, their microchips from NVIDIA, and their sensors from Bosch. BYD, however, completely controls its own supply chain. They mine their own lithium, they manufacture their own battery cells, they design their own microchips, they wind their own electric motors, and they even build their own massive transport ships, like the BYD Explorer No. 1, to export the cars globally without relying on Western logistics. Because they possess this financial superpower, they deployed this groundbreaking fifth-generation DMI technology directly into an entry-level family car. In its domestic market, the Qin L launched at a price point of roughly $14,000. It is significantly cheaper than a base model, heavily outdated, plastic-filled petrol Toyota Corolla. Even factoring in global shipping costs, export tariffs, and dealer margins, the Qin L is landing on international shores at a price that completely undercuts the Honda Civic, the VW Golf, and the Toyota Prius. You're getting a beautifully designed, incredibly spacious vehicle with an interior that shames European premium brands, offering 1,300 miles of range for the price of a basic hatchback. The reaction from the West has been entirely predictable, unable to compete on engineering, unable to compete on software, and absolutely obliterated on price. Western governments have resorted to sheer panic. They are frantically erecting massive tariff walls. The United States and the European Union are actively trying to ban or heavily tax these vehicles under the guise of national security and fair competition. But these tariffs are nothing more than a desperate admission of defeat. They are a loud, undeniable confession that a century of European and American automotive dominance has ended. And while the West tries to hide behind these artificial tax walls, the rest of the world is moving on. The global South, markets in South America, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Australia do not care about protecting legacy European brands. They care about value, technology, and getting 1,300 miles out of a single tank. BYD is systematically conquering these massive global markets, while Detroit and Munich hide behind government protection. Automotive executives across the West are currently locked in continuous, sleepless crisis meetings. For years, they arrogantly assumed that Chinese manufacturers could only compete on cheap, low-range electric cars. They thought their century-old mastery of the internal combustion engine was their impenetrable fortress. The BYD Qin L has just violently burned that fortress to the ground. By perfecting the plug-in hybrid, the exact technology the West was desperately trying to use as a safety net, BYD has cut off all avenues of escape. The Qin L is no longer just a domestic anomaly. The massive transport ships are already crossing the oceans right now. This vehicle is actively invading the globe, and it is systematically dismantling market share right now in 2026. When a Chinese automaker can take the combustion engine, the very heart of Western industrial pride, and make it exponentially more efficient, exponentially cheaper, and more technologically advanced than the inventors themselves, the game is officially over. Range anxiety has been entirely eradicated. The traditional automotive hierarchy has collapsed. This is Drive and RPM. If you want to witness the brutal reality of the global automotive takeover, and if you want to see through the desperate lies of the legacy manufacturers, hit the subscribe button right now. The 1,300-mile revolution is already in your driveway. We will see you in the next video.